Hello all and welcome to Wild Crochet yet again for another tutorial. My name is Mary and in today's tutorial I'm just doing a very rough guide on how to sew two different pieces together of two different sizes. Okay, so that white row that you see right there is larger than this square right here. Okay, now the reason we're doing this is not for this square, but I'll talk to you about the square in a minute. We're doing this for our convivial cushion because part 4 on our convivial cushion, I thought I'd upload this first to show you. You have to join two of your pieces of the cushions together, but they don't match up with the sides. One side is smaller than the other, or one side is smaller than the other. So I literally am doing this particular tutorial to show you how to fit a larger piece and a smaller piece together, evenly together, so there's no gaps. You don't see any holes there. All right, I didn't complete it because I don't want to do this to these squares. I really don't. If you wanted to just continue doing that, you can like stuff it and use it as a little pin cushion if you like. And just quickly before we go on, these are our squares for our new blanket that we're about to start. It's a beautiful sunshine blanket called the Sunshine Bright Blanket. And this is a sunburst granny square. And the tutorial for this one will be uploaded in about 2 or 3 days. So get excited for that. I'm just using these pieces to help you see how to do this particular sewing together, because on the convivial cushion, the actual yarn I'm using is black, so it's fairly dark. So you may not be able to work it out. So I thought I'd show you this first, and then probably early tomorrow morning I will upload the convivial cushion and the final part of that cushion. Yay, get excited. But in the meantime, we're just going to do that, and this is how I started it. All right, so what you will need for this tutorial is 2 stitch markers. For this one, for your convivial cushion, you might need 7 or 8. And you will need your sewing darning needle, probably need the scissors at the end to cut it and weave in all those ends. But we're not going to do that. I'm just going to show you pretty much how to do the side seams there. All right, I'm not going to talk anymore. Let's just get started with sewing 2 pieces of different sizes together to make them one. I'm going to be showing you a way to sew 2 pieces together that are different sizes. Now, the reason I'm doing this is because part 4 of our convivial cushion, both the sides do not match. Now, if you are wondering what our convivial cushion is, the very first link you see in the description box down below here will be a link to our convivial cushion, and I'll just do the full playlist and you can head over and have a bit of a play with that. In the meantime, these are pieces that I'm working on a blanket with the rest of our channel. Hasn't started yet, that'll start in a couple of days. But in the meantime, I'm going to be showing you briefly how to do these 2 pieces together as one. Now, as you can see, this one only has 1, 2, 3 cluster sets. Oh, let me get a close up for you. 3 cluster sets there. Okay, and this one has 4 cluster sets there. So there's no way these 2 are going to match. So let's just put the 2 right sides together. This is just so a bit of a practice for your convivial cushion. You will need your sewing darning needle, okay? You won't need a hook for this tutorial. It's just going to be a very brief tutorial on how to sew these pieces together, because I know that in the convivial cushion it was fairly dark and hard to see. So before I upload that, I'm going to show you how we do it here. So where we're going to start off with, we're going to start off by putting our needle through any one of our stitches. And that's the 2 loops you see, or the V, if you will. Let's just start off with the corner. You probably won't need to do that here, but we'll just start off with one of the stitches in the corner, and that's those 2 stitches there. And just go to the opposite side and pop the 2 stitches there. All right, just grabbing your loop through, your thread through. Don't pull it through all the way because it's not knotted, okay? We will be knotting it a bit later. Now what we do, I pop it straight back through the same stitch right there, back into the same stitch. Now I don't put it all the way through, I go halfway like so. I leave that little loop there, then I pass my needle through the loop, and all that's doing is knotting that in place. That's not going to come undone, all right? In the meantime, let's go straight into the very next stitch there and the corresponding stitch right there. Now, Let's say for argument's sake, which is true, we can't meet all the way across there, okay? What we need to do is grab a stitch marker. You stretch this one all the way across to the next corner. You pop your stitch marker in that next corner, okay? Pretty obvious that's not going to make it across. So you grab another stitch marker. Now you give it a big stretch right across. Let me bring that out so you can see the stretch. So you give it a big stretch right across, bring your fingers over, pop your stitch marker in one stitch and in any other stitch across the way. So now it looks like they may match up if we work out how to match them, okay? So here we'll count our greens. In our green we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and the 7th one is in your stitch marker, all right? Now we're going to count our whites. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's not going to match up, is it? So what we're going to do, for our very next stitch, we're going to pop our needle in the very next stitch, which is there, and in the very next stitch, which is opposite, okay? Pull your thread through like normal. To make that match up with that, we're going to pop it in the same stitch on the green and in a new stitch on your white, okay? So you are bringing, without looping anything there, that forward, yes? Then you're going to do the same. You go into your very next stitch there and your very next stitch of your white. Always your second stitch is normal, okay? But when you get to that very, what have I done there? That's better. When you get to the very next stitch, you go into the same stitch on the green and a new stitch on the white, okay? And now just quickly count how many greens you have left. You have 1, 2, 3 greens left. How many whites? 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So it's still a lot. So what we're going to do is put it in the normal stitch and a normal stitch. So 2 new stitches there. Yes. And with this one here, you're going back into the same stitch of the green that you just went into and start a new stitch of, I wonder if I can get it, of the white, okay? Should have probably used the yellow. This might have been a little bit easier to see with the yellow. Okay, in your next one, you are starting a new green and a new white. Yes. And in your next one, you're going to the same green with a new white right there. Now, if you noticed, there's 1 green left there and a green on the stitch marker and the white on the stitch marker. So you go into the normal green there and the stitch marker white. It's not even yet, but you're going to make it even in the very next stitch. So you are staying in that green. Let me take the stitch marker out. So you're staying in the same green and going in a new white right there. All right, from here you count along. Count your greens. Okay, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and it's not including the corner. All right, so now you count your whites. Now you're already in that stitch there, so don't count that. Go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and there's more whites than green. So now you're going to go the other way, where you're going to put your next stitch in the green and the same in the white. All right, so you're going to go that way. Oops. All right, then you're going into the next green and your next white. Remember, we've got more green on this side, okay, which is really unusual. Should have less, doesn't matter. So now we're going to go into the new green and the same white. Okay, then a new green and a new white. New green meaning a new stitch in the green and a new stitch in the white. Now we do the same I'm not sorry, we do the new green and the same white again. All right, should be even now, we hope. If not, count it. Just go. Where are we? We're in there. So we're counting 1, 2, 3, 4 whites. How many greens do you have? 1, 2, 3, and 4 greens. So now this can be evenly stitched all the way across the row. Now, if by any chance I accidentally put it in another one there, you can adjust it towards the end as well. It doesn't matter. Yes? Nothing in this area. When you're doing something like this, it doesn't matter. Ordinarily, you would not do this. This is just, we use this when we are creating unusual items like our pillow. Now, I've noticed I've got 1 left and 2 there, so I'm going to pop it in the same one. Oh, no, that's right. Yeah, no, I'll pop it in the same one and then do it in a new one on the opposite side. Now, sometimes you just adjust it. That's all right. Go into your new one on this side, and your new one on that side's the last one. All right. So what you do, open up your piece and both sides match. All right. Whoops, that didn't work. Let's try it again. Bring it out. There you go. And the both sides match. So there you go. And that's that. Now, if you wanted to continue along the way, you just do the same there. Stretch out your piece. In fact, that's what we're going to do. I'm going to do this side, get halfway through it, and then you can have a look-see. All right, there. Now you can take that stitch marker out of the corner because we've already got the corner going. All right, so the corner to that corner to that corner, we're going to pop a stitch marker right in the middle, or roughly. There's no right or wrong answer of doing this, really there isn't. Okay, so now we're going to finish off the corner. Okay, now the corner, there's 2 stitches on one side from memory and 2 stitches on the other. So just go into the first one and then the first one there, like so. Oops, I nearly went the wrong way. Get it right, Mary. 1 there and 1 there, like so. Okay, a little bit blurry. Let's get a nice close-up. How's that? That's better. All right, so what you're going to do is you're going to count your whites. So we're in that one there. So you've got your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and you're in the 9th. I've put it through 1 stitch there, so I've made a mess, but that's okay. We're there. And the greens are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, so you're going to make sure you reduce 2. So you go into that very next one there and into your next one. You're going to start it off. You don't want to do it in the corner. It comes a bit funny in the corner. All right, and now your next stitch, you go into the same stitch on this side and start a new one on the other side because we had 2 extra of the white, yes? So you go into the very next stitch there and the very next stitch on the opposite. So that's the same, that's normal. And then your very next stitch, you go into this, no, you go into the next stitch there and a next stitch like normal because there's only 2, so we don't want to do it too close together. In fact, I think we'll do it now. So you go into the same stitch and you start a new one on your white. So I'm hoping this is making sense. Now you wouldn't do this, like I said, with normal squares. This is just because I wanted to show you for our cushion. So new one all the way across. You should make the new one all the way across, like so. Whoops. And we've got 1 more new one here and 1 more new one on that side. And then, whoops, and then we're going to go into the stitch marker stitches. All right, I'm hoping that makes sense. So what we're going to do, before we do, I took the stitch marker out, we're going to count across how many stitches there are here. So we're in that one there. Yes, we're in that one there already. So we count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We're not counting our chains. All right, 10 whites. How many greens? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, and there you go. We've got 1 wrong on the green, which is fine. Okay, so we're still going to start a new green and a new white. So this is just showing you what it would be like if it was the other way around, which it is. So if it's the other way around, you're going in the next green, like so, and the same white. That has shortened that side, okay? And for the rest, you're just going to go all the way across. It's not exactly the right way of doing it, but it helps you out in desperate times when you've got too many chains or too many stitches on one side and not enough on the other. It's kind of like working two different sizes together, and I use that for the Convivial Cushion. And the reason I'm showing you this is because when we did it on the Convivial Cushion, when I did it on the Convivial Cushion, it was so dark, it was hard to see. So when you do the Convivial Cushion in a couple of days' time, or tomorrow, I think it might be uploaded tomorrow morning early, you will be able to do this part of it. You wouldn't understand it unless you see the cushion, why I've done this, but I'll show you in a minute. Once you get to the corner, oops, a bit of a knot there. Once we get to that corner, then you'll be able to understand it. Okay, I've messed up here. I've got 2 extra stitches on the white. Oh dear. We'll go back into the green and into the new one of the white. It happens, don't worry. Nothing we can't fix. Okay, get into your green and then your new white, your new green, your new white right there. Right. Back into the green and starting a new white. I'm just going to do these chains. So take that out. We're up to the chain stitches now. Just want to do the chains because I want to show you what you're looking at once it's all done. Chains and chains. I've kind of done a very rough job on the chain, so I might have split it, but you know, just wanted to show you. I'm taking this undone and I'll explain that to you why in the future in about 5 minutes. 5 minutes. All right, there you go. Now, what I wanted you to do is just see what happens when you do them like that. Okay? So if we kept going, that would be like that, and that would be like that. You would have a full square and it'll be nice and full for your cushion. Okay, so it works well to do that for the cushion, and you can't tell that I did it. Okay, it works well on cushions. All right, when you see the Convivial Cushion tomorrow morning, you will understand it. In the meantime, let me show you what we are doing with these particular squares. In fact, I'll tell you what I will do. I'll just move them out the way and grab this square here. If you are wanting to make this square, join us in 2 or 3 days' time, probably Friday at this stage, Friday Melbourne, Australia time. We're looking at 3 days, 2 to 3 days. And we will be creating this beautiful sunflower square, which will become our sunshine bright blanket. Oh, very exciting. So the sunburst square will be created in a couple of days' time. I just used this particular tutorial to show you how to close up 2 pieces that don't match up. I hoped it helped. In the meantime, thank you so much for joining me. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share and all those wonderful things that you do for me. And all I want to say right now, guys, is ciao for now.